early February in Dublin and the city is gripped by Six Nations fever. Rugby is the least of the concerns for the players in the third annual DeepStack Open. Poker players from across Europe have descended on Ball's Bridge for the event.
We started off 148 players the first year. Last year was 154 players at the Red Cow, but really that should have been over 200. If you remember the weather last year, we had over 80 players stuck in airports all across Europe trying to get to the event. And then this year, almost 500 players. If we had room, we've turned away at least 200 players.
Chili Poker just signed an agreement of 3 years to sponsor this event, which was a successful event since already 3 years now with 400 players. And we have decided to do this because we want to be really involved in the Irish poker community. And because as well, there is a lot of French, as you have noticed, and as my company is French, then it makes sense for us.
We start off, obviously, we have 60 staff to organise just for the weekend, but they're quite specialist skills. Obviously, dealers take a lot of training. Then with the floor staff, they need to know all the different rules of poker. Specifically the ones we use, because there's so many different sets of poker rules out there. And then organising the hotel to provide a good service for the players, making sure the players have food and drink and everything is there for when suddenly 500 players descend upon the bars and restaurants that the hotel can manage with it. So basically we deal with everything from the players getting their money into the event, giving them details of accommodation, sorting out a deal with the hotel and making sure everything runs smoothly.
Reigning champion Francis McCormack knows it will be hard to defend his title.
It'll be a lot tougher this year because there's more players in it and there's more French players in it as well. So I think last year there was 200 runners, I think this year it's double that, so it's going to be tough. But I'm in good form and hopefully I can achieve it. After that, I had a superb year. Throughout the year, I became the #1 poker player in Ireland.
A surprise entry to this year's event is another Irish player, World Series of Poker player Andy Black.
I have a good connection with the guys running the tournament. So I actually played in the first one of these, or like these, before. And it's only a mile from my house, so I was able to cycle here. Most of the Irish players couldn't get in. I mean, there's an awful lot of French players here today. And I know hundreds and hundreds of Irish players who would have wanted to get in. It was just sold out very early.
I've played quite a bit of poker all around the world. In Singapore, Las Vegas, all over Europe. It's a fantastic game. It's a great social event as well. You get to meet a lot of nice people, and you know, I'm a degenerate as well. My younger brother was actually the reason why I'm playing poker now today. Came back and found it online there and started playing online, so it kind of took off from there. My father plays, my sister plays, my younger brother plays, and my mother also plays. And my mother's actually the only winner in the house.
The increased numbers means the Irish are up against it.
My name is Sandra Naujos. I'm from Germany, Berlin. I won the European Championship in Baden in 2008 and the EPT in Dortmund in 2009.
It's a good experience for me. A lot of people, very nice structure, a lot of foreign, different style of game. So I think for me it's good experience to play this tournament.
I'm not here to just only to play a more tournament. I want to win. I hope so, and I do my best to win this tournament.
The difference is that you have not so many professionals here to play, just a few. And so the field is not that strong, but strong enough to fear.
A word I would say is that Irish players need to keep up with their European counterparts. The Scandinavians, the Russians, I think sometimes they work a bit harder than the Irish guys, you know. So we need to work harder, or we'll only be relying on our guts And you know, that will sometimes be enough, but maybe not always.
The main reason so many have made the trip is the format.
As poker has developed, particularly over the last few years, people like to have a lot of chips, so they've got a lot of play, especially if you travel from another country. So they give you an awful lot of chips for this buy-in. So the players have great value. You know, you can suffer a few wounds and still stay alive. Yeah. So I think the structure is great.
The structure of tournaments is very beautiful. A lot of chips, long round, and in Paris, in France, it's not possible to have this structure of tournament. So I think it's normal to have a lot of French come in Dublin for playing this tournament.
It's a format that you know, really favours good players. You can sit there, you can wait for your hands, you can play a bit of poker. There's room for error as well. You know, if you make a mistake or you make a misread, you know, you can continue on. The blind structure is just so fantastic here.
You have the time to look the tells of the player, to look the rhythm of the table. We have time to play poker. We have a lot of chips, so it's okay.
Another feature to DeepStack Poker is the long hours of play over 3 days.
To win this event, you have to be able to deal with the long hours. It's part of some poker tournaments. The players played for 13, 14 hours, sometimes even longer. But that's something you have to learn to do. Actually, one of the players, Darrow Kearney, is an ultra-marathon runner. So he's used to running for 24 hours. So for him, it's a doddle, but for the rest of the players, it's a little more difficult.
People don't talk about it too much, but I mean, you know, more and more people are looking at their fitness, looking at their the psychology behind it. They're getting trainers, they're getting people to help them. You know, this was unthought of 5 or 6 years ago. And now, amongst a lot of the top players, it's almost the norm. There's tremendous mental stress in the game across the board. In poker, I mean, it's sort of kind of obvious, but there you are, you're put in a seat, and you don't choose who's sitting at the table. They may be the people you hate the most in the world that really annoy you. And there you are stuck. The only way you can get out of that situation is get knocked out yourself or they get knocked out.
As the third day began, there were still a number of players in with a chance of winning. Some were not so lucky though.
I bust yesterday. It was so hard for me because I was on the table 8 hours and I was short stack on 80,000. In 1 hour and a half, I do a big stack with 270,000 and I take a real bad bit, a real one. I have ace king, I raise, somebody say, okay, I do all in on the big blind. He have ace 6 off. Wow, I say, you cracked or what happened? He do a flush on the river. I have a king on the flop, but he do a flush on the river. The next hand, just next hand, I have ace 9, I put all in, and the same guy say, okay, call. I have pocket 10, and I have a 9 on the flop, maybe an ace, a 9, but no, nothing for me. I'm bust.
I'm bust on the end of the day one. I make all in with ace5, I guess, ace king. So I'm pretty not happy to burst on the tournament, but it's a great tournament, nice structure, so I'm happy to be here in Dublin, in Ireland. So it's okay, I'm fine.
I got knocked out the first day, so fencing my title wasn't that good. I had 10 jack of spades and guy raised pre-flop. And I called. The flop came 7-8 with 2 spades. And he bet and I pushed. He had kings, unfortunately I didn't hit. I was actually a lot more nervous than I thought I'd be. But that's just poker, isn't it? I'm in the side event now, so hopefully I can pick up a small compensation.
The success of this year's event means that it will grow again next year.
Next year we've made arrangements that we can accommodate just over 1,000 players, which is double what we have this year. So it's going to be a really, really big tournament. The first prize should be over €100,000 for an entry of only €500. So somebody's going to go home very, very happy.
I think next year is going to be a little bit bigger because we are going to promote it on TV a little bit more. We are going to promote to do it a real international event.
At the moment we've already got, I think we counted 16 nationalities of player playing this tournament, so it is a real European event, but with their help we should bring even more players from the continent over to Ireland for probably going to be the biggest tournament in Ireland next year numbers wise.
I like this year, so maybe next year I come back with a lot of French friends.
Was so successful that now Chili Poker is planning to do a tour in Europe, which means that we are going to do the same event, the Chili Poker DeepStack Open, in Marrakesh in Morocco, probably in Hungary, in France. We have a lot of destinations that we are planning to do, and it will be a European tour.
Ultimately, the happiest player this year was Frédéric Brunet from France, who sealed the title at 6 a.m. on the Monday morning after 40 hours of play.